Hello, future project managers. If you're new to project management or you're just looking at getting into a role as a project manager, then this video is for you. Or even if you're already in a project management role, maybe you might find a few of these tips useful. Because today, I'm going to talk to you about my top 10 things that you need to know how to do and be good at as a project manager. And it's for any type of project, not just engineering projects. So let's get straight into it. Number one, and probably the most important thing that you need to be good at, is communication. As engineers, we're possibly good at explaining technical ideas, but we're going to need to be even better at explaining them to non-technical people as project managers. There's a variety of roles that you need to manage in a project, not just the engineers, not just the technical people, not just the solutions. You need to explain it clearly and simply. Managing is more about people than it is about the solution in a lot of the times. So the technical ideas are great, but how do you manage the group as a leader or as a manager? Don't boss them about. Don't ignore them. Just talking to them so you can get the project done. Writing as well, writing clear actions, writing minutes of meetings, writing documentation, specifications, report to stakeholders. So speaking and writing are two of the important communication anyway. Number two, probably just as important as communication, is you're going to have to solve problems. One of your biggest challenges will be problems, and how well you solve them is going to go a long way to the success of your project. So spotting potential issues as they come up before they become major problems, removing obstacles that slow the project down. And again, it comes back to people, problem solving with people, discussing with people, coming up with solutions. So communication and problem solving, the two biggest ideas or areas, I think, for a project manager. If it's an engineering project or a technical project, you need to understand enough about the solution to be able to work with the team and discuss it and speak with your clients. And you need to know the basics of how to explain them. So what are the technical terms? How do you speak the jargon, the lingo, the acronyms? You're going to have to talk to your team about it and your clients or your stakeholders about it. Number four, the frameworks of a project. You're not going to just make up the steps of running a project. You're going to have phases that come from proven successful project frameworks. So you need to understand what they are. I'm going to put these links in the comments for you so that you can go and research your own if you've never heard of them or you want to know more about how to use them. One of the biggest ones is the Project Management Institute. It's for USA, but also global projects. So that's a big one from the PMI. And their document or their guidebook is called a guide to the project management body of knowledge. There's an equivalent version of that or a similar version of that in the UK, the Association for Project Management, APM, and it's got its own body of knowledge guidebook as well. The other big one for the UK and Europe is called Prince 2. So understanding that, it started in the government in the UK and it's expanded out into other industries. So that's quite a popular one for projects around the UK in particular. So understanding those and what are the phases, what are the key concepts within that, they'll go into your reports, they'll go into your schedules, and it's your responsibility to manage the project accordingly. Being organized, number five. Planning, scheduling, organization. You're going to have lots and lots and lots of tasks to do and a lot of people coming at you with problems. What do they do next? How do they do something? What's first? So we need to break the large frameworks down into bite-sized manageable pieces. So large bits into small steps. People like to have a step-by-step guide as to what they're doing. What do they do first? Next, where are they going to be involved in the project? Setting realistic timelines with your Gantt charts or your schedules. You're going to get support from your team to put those together. It's not all on you as a project manager to put that together, but you're going to be responsible for making sure that exists and it's communicated, and more importantly, it's followed. What about in meetings? Number 6, we have to manage meetings effectively. We don't want to go into meetings and just spend the whole time talking about what we did on the weekend and a bunch of random things, and then we leave the meeting and having achieved nothing, or no one knows what they're meant to do after the meeting. So running effective meetings, setting an agenda that is issued before you go into the meeting. Everybody then knows what they need to bring, what they need to prepare, what they're going to be responsible for talking about. We're then going to run the meeting according to the agenda to achieve some objectives. Yourself or somebody else is going to need to take minutes. What did we talk about? What actions did we give out? What deadlines do we give them to complete them? So we're going to have clear meeting minutes with actions, dates, one person's name, not two, because if you put 2 people's names, both of them are not going to do it. Follow up on the actions for that one person that you just gave the action to, or your team gave the action to. Make sure that they're consistently knowing what they have to do by when, and we close off those actions. So meeting management's a big part, which links back to communication. Projects are not all about the project manager. You're responsible for the project as the project manager, but it's the team that is going to be the support to help achieve that. So we've got to make sure the team is focused. They know what to do. They have the framework, like I talked about earlier. They don't have loads and loads of meetings that we don't need to do. They know what to do, when by, and they've got the tools to do them. So we not only need to support the team, but the team will support each other as well to get that done. And we need to have the trust within the groups to be able to do that. Quite often you've got maintenance and engineering and operations and all sorts of different groups that don't want to necessarily do the same thing because their objectives are different. So your part of your work is to get that support, the trust, the coordination as a team. Which I guess takes me to number 8, priority management. We've got lots of requests coming in from different stakeholders, different people who are involved with different interests in the project. You have to make sure that you're managing the competing requests, make sure that the team knows what they've got to do, and you're filtering out the things that don't need to do. So it's about setting priorities based on our schedule, based on delivering our objectives. We need to understand what the constraints are. If it's an engineering project, what is the limitation of what we can deliver, when we can deliver it by, and what resources we have available to deliver those. Again, that leads me to number 9, which is the stakeholder management, very linked to the priority setting, and again, linked to communication. Stakeholders is a person that has an interest or that is involved in any way in the project. Client, government, your boss, other departments, the council, the government. There's a whole lot of different groups that may or may not be involved or have a care about the project. Your responsibility is to manage them. Not just manage them as people, but to manage their expectations. This is when we can realistically deliver your project, deliver this phase, deliver this part of the scope. This is how much it's going to cost, plus or minus some contingency. You need to build relationships with those stakeholders, with the different groups, internal, external, because if you don't have that relationship, then the trust, the communication all falls down, and you're going to have a troubling time, let's say, in managing the delivery of your project by the date, by the cost, by the quality that you said you would. Number 10, it's the last step in most processes, whether that's a plan, do, check, act process, whether that's a Six Sigma process. The last one is usually continuous improvement. We want to continuously improve and learn and get better. So is the team willing to learn? Are they looking at the latest trends that's coming out in technology in advancements in different ways of thinking? Are they keeping up to date as part of their continuing professional development, CPD? Are they curious and wanting? Are they asking questions? Can they ask questions of you and other members of the team? If they don't understand it, will they get told to go away because we're too busy? Do we do lessons learned capture after the project's finished? Log what we learned from the project so that next time we do another project, we can learn from that and hopefully not make the same mistakes again. So that's my top 10 things that you need to know how to do or be good at as a project manager. I'm sure there's lots and lots of more. Feel free to put them into the comments below if there's something that you think is important that you've learned. But hopefully you've taken a few tips from this yourself. So if you want to become a project manager in the future, then start working on the development in these skills. Thank you for listening and stay tuned till next time. Bye for now.